Welcome to the CMO Spotlight. And today I have Tim Minahan, who's the EVP of Business Strategy and the Chief Marketing Officer for Citrix.
I jumped into B2B publishing, worked across a host of different publications, largely on the technology side of the business. Was tapped on the shoulder to start a research practice around emerging at that point in time e-commerce, digital marketplaces, supply chain at the Aberdeen Group. Ran all of research and services for the organization. And at the time, believe it or not, I'm aging myself, there was this emerging concept of software as a service. Well, there's some very interesting companies that were emerging. And one of them, actually based in Atlanta, had approached me and said, hey, we'd really like you to come on, help us define our strategy, help us really build and bootstrap a marketing organization from the ground up. And that was a company called Procuri. We're then acquired by Ariba, where I stepped into the CMO role there. When I joined SAP, I was asked to step into another interesting opportunity, which was to take over as Chief Marketing Officer of their then emerging SAP Cloud business unit. And then from there, that's how I wound up here at Citrix. One is to head the global marketing organization, everything from brand to demand to customer advocacy. On the strategy side, complementing that, I lead our core research team as well as guide the company through both strategic planning and strategy development, as well as providing the framework and guide. So when individual product teams or go-to-market teams need to drive new strategies, new routes to market, we provide a consistent process and framework to do that. Work can happen anywhere. How many opportunities, I passed up, you passed up because you weren't going to move halfway across the country, or as a leader, how many employees who have incredibly skilled talent that you needed to move your business forward that you didn't hire because they weren't within commuting distance to one of your work hubs. And so, again, if there's one iota of a silver lining to this crisis we've all been living through, it's certainly rapidly accelerated digital transformation, as we talked about, but it's also caused businesses and employees to kind of rethink outdated work models. Three things tied together: listening and observing, and then interpreting. Being able to take different data points very quickly, interpret and frame up concepts or positioning or entire markets. Being able to take a research-based approach to things, quickly interpret the direction the winds are going, taking a moment to listen and observe. I've become really engrossed in kind of historical revisions and biographies, and it's really interesting to understand how folks from George Washington to Benedict Arnold to others, back in the Pilgrim's Day, really how they've made decisions, right? What were the external pressures on them, and really applying it to real current day. I do find inspiration from my daughters and from the new generation. They're thinking incredibly differently and going back to even just work right now. You think of the last 3 years, we have the first generation of workers that is entering the workforce and without going into an office. They have different ways of engaging that don't require them to have a physical office all the time. And I think that's where we need to kind of really take inspiration on what, when I talk a lot about the future of work. I investigate a lot about the future of work, and that generation is really helping to accelerate a lot of the things that many of us have been talking about for years. Framing up a compelling vision, creating clear delineated milestones or OKRs on tracking progress towards that. Certainly, I think especially in this day and age, but always, hiring people smarter than you. Number of specialized disciplines across marketing just continues to grow exponentially, and the idea that you can apply a generalist approach to everything is I think is unrealistic. And so, I strive to find people who are experts in those fields, who, can really bring that unique perspective and best practices. And then finally, my role, I believe, as a leader is really to knock down barriers for their success.